Have you ever felt a deep physical frustration when forced to follow a workplace policy or social tradition that makes absolutely zero logical sense? Most people just shrug and blindly comply. But if you push back, society labels you. You become the rebellious employee, the stubborn student, or simply difficult to manage. This friction is a staple of corporate offices and traditional schools. Systems designed to reward strict obedience while frequently discouraging critical thought. But what if that intense urge to resist a pointless rule has nothing to do with a childish problem with authority? Psychology reveals that your brain is highly allergic to cognitive inefficiency. Your pattern recognition is so developed that it physically rejects a flawed system. This is a societal misdiagnosis. We have mistaken a highly analytical mind for a behavioral problem. This chart shows the direct relationship between analytical reasoning and conformity. As analytical capability rises, conformity sharply drops. An analytical brain requires an underlying logic. When authority cites tradition as the sole justification, your mind finds it impossible to compute. Societal rules are engineered for the masses. They function as broad generalizations designed to apply easily to large groups of people at once. But an intelligent brain processes information in complex layers. When encountering a rigid policy, your mind instantly identifies the exceptions, context, and logical flaws. You see reality with nuance. Unable to simply ignore oversimplifications, you reject the rule's validity. You do not reject rigid policies out of spite. You reject them because your brain naturally operates in layers of nuance that sweeping rules destroy. There is also a visceral emotional reaction that occurs when a rule is forced on you without a clear logical reason. Psychologists call this an identity threat. For an independent thinker, an illogical instruction triggers an immediate defensive response. You are internally driven rather than externally controlled. When you choose a structure based on logic, you follow it gladly. But when robbed of choice to enforce a pointless instruction, it creates internal tension. It feels like an overt attempt to control your thoughts. Your identity is built around independent thought. That external control feels like losing a core part of who you are. Resisting an illogical rule is a protective mechanism. It is the mind's method of reclaiming its autonomy and protecting its core identity. This reaction highlights a difference in how we perceive safety. For many, strict rules reduce unpredictability and establish a sense of order. However, a highly intelligent mind perceives environmental boundaries in a very different way. This visual shows a standard walled pathway on the left and an open grid on the right. With a higher tolerance for uncertainty, comfortably navigate without a roadmap. Pointless rules don't feel like protection, they feel like unnecessary limitations. Independent thinkers value choice so highly, they would often rather fail on their own terms than succeed blindly following a system they don't believe in. Intelligent nonconformity is rooted in a high degree of comfort with the unknown. This renders traditional safety rails obsolete for these individuals. Constantly challenging the status quo isn't about starting a rebellion. It is an active attempt to innovate and improve broken systems. If you find yourself in this position, remember, you are not a troublemaker, you are not too rebellious, and you are not broken. You simply possess an independent, analytical mind that demands logic and values autonomy. Your brain refuses to settle for cognitive inefficiency. On this channel, we provide foundational psychology that explains exactly how your mind works without the surface-level advice. Hit that subscribe button now, because understanding your mind changes exactly how you live within it.